Welcome to the Configure Price Quote Podcast. My name is Frank Sohn and I'm the founder of CPQ Consulting. This podcast is 100% focused on Configure Price Quote, also known as CPQ, and will provide you useful insights into this topic. Today's guest is Matthias Radner, a sales rep at Resolto Informatik GmbH, a Festo-owned company. Matthias is based in Herford, Germany, and I'm excited to explore Resolto's configuration price quote solution and to learn more about Matthias during our conversation today. Matthias, welcome to the CPQ Podcast.
Hi, Frank. Thank you.
Very excited to have you, Matthias. Let's maybe start by telling me a little bit more about yourself and what you did before you joined Resolto.
Yeah, my name is Matthias Radner. I'm now 34 years old. Oh, wow. Getting old, I guess. And I'm working for Resolto now for 4 years. Yeah, a bit less than 4 years, but it's getting to it. And I started in a day with as a commercial specialist in the retail. So I started selling mattresses, cushions, and stuff for I don't know if it's a name in America. It's called Jysk in Germany. And yeah, there was about, I guess, 3 years. Then afterwards, I changed to a wholesaler as an internal sales. Was very funny because they produced mattresses and beds, so it was the same product. It was good for me. Afterwards, I changed to a company which made electrical services, fiberglass services. They also did IT services. That's where my IT, let's call it experience started. The interest IT started. And there was a commercial manager, and afterwards, even for a short time CEO, and then I changed to the selling part again to Resolto because it makes a lot more fun to do the selling for customers.
But let me ask you a question concerning the selling, right? So since you sold into different environments, what's one of the key lessons you've learned so far about selling that's true across the board?
Yeah, I always say it's very good that I started selling from face to face because it helped to don't have any kind of prejudice. Is it called like
prejudice, that? Yeah.
Prejudice, yes. Because I always remember one example because back in the day there was one customer coming to me. He looked very poor. Let me say it like this. He had old clothes. He looked even a bit he wanted to buy a mattress for 30 euros, for example. Yeah. And the first thing he said was, I want to have the best mattress you have. It could be the expensive one. It doesn't care. And I was, okay. And that is what I've learned because even now in the sales from software, it's sometimes you have a small company. It appears as a small company, but maybe they have a very necessary in software or very interested in software, or they think that software is their solution and they want to spend more money than I as a sales guy guess in the first step. So that is what I learned in the beginning, and that helps a lot to be clear in the talks.
Very interesting. So the lesson learned is here basically to stay open from the start because you never know who you're dealing with. Is that correct?
Yeah. Right.
So when you look at this, the sales role, right? So it's also high pressure, right? So because you lots of salespeople also work for commission, right? So how do you personally stay motivated and focused, especially when the sales cycle is so long and uncertain as it is typically with CPQ software?
Yeah, I always say that it's motivation gets from step to step. So I want to take all the positive things from the step we get to the customer. Is it a talk? Is it a meeting? Is it just a positive feedback about our software? It helps to stay motivated. And funny of it is I always get these questions from friends too, who sell hardware stuff, for example. They always say, I make 15, 20, 30 offers a day or stuff. And I always say, okay. That's good, but it's not the same with software, especially with CPQ, like you said. And of course, you stay motivated even if maybe 1 month nothing happens, no one signs a deal. That's okay. They will come back to you sometimes if they are convinced in the software, and that's okay. So just staying positive.
How did you get used to these different sales cycles? Because as you said, if you sold mattresses first, I would expect you're standing with a customer there, they are buying or they're not buying. Maybe they come back the next day, but everything happens fairly quickly. With the software, I know there are deals where people talk for 1.5 years before they make any decisions.
Yep.
Not always that long, right? So, but I would say it's still pretty long. How did you get adjusted to these different sales cycles?
I think it was a process in my career too, because I, like I said, changed from retail to wholesale. So you had like daily business, then to weekly business, and the structure in electrical services was often talking about a month or 2 months, and it got more and more from my career steps. So I landed in the end with long sales cycle now. And of course, it was great that at the beginning there was very early a company where we don't have that large sales cycle. So he signed an offer like I guess 1 month later. So I was very positive there. But of course, I imagine my first call I made from Resolto 4 years ago. I guess they have signed my offer 4 months ago, for example. So they were more than 3 years in the pipeline. And you have both. So you get used to
it. Okay. Before we talk more about Resolto, tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do when you don't work.
Back in the days, I was a hip hop dancer. That's what I always try to say, because I did it for many years, even in international championships, European championships, world championships. And of course, with now 34 years old, getting hard. The knees are not so young anymore. So I changed to tennis. I'm playing tennis now for 3 years. And tennis is such a good sport to get the pressure low, or even to get the anger out of your body. Let me say it like this. And of course, it's a sport you only need one other person for. And in our sales role, sometimes it's like that. You don't have that time, and you have to be spontaneous and say, okay, let's meet for an hour and play tennis. The best sport for it.
Very cool. But let me ask one question more about your hip hop dancing.
Yes.
Right? So how long did you do that when you competed in international competitions? What was the highest title you ever won when you did that?
I did it for 10 years. But I started with 17, so I did it mainly in my adult years. And the highest one was with the group. It was the second place in the European Championship, where we qualified for the World Championship, where we got to the final with, I guess, 27 groups, where we got the 26th place. But that was fully okay. And together with a friend of mine, we did some, it's called duo, where you are on stage with 2 persons, where I was with him in the European Championship final. So with my own choreo and stuff. It was very great.
Wow, that's very impressive. And by the way, I think that's the first one in the podcast I had who mentioned something like hip hop, right? So, and I have now over 370 episodes, so it means something. Very cool. Anyway, let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk a little bit more about Resolto, right? Tell me a little bit more about the Resolto CPQ solution.
Resolto CPQ solution, we want to offer to anybody. So we opened it 1 year ago to say, okay, we don't just do enterprise solutions, but also we now do plug and play solutions. So even if there's a low budget company, they can start from like €0 or just a little fee to start with a configurator. And
is it just the configurator, Matthias, or is there pricing and quoting also included?
It is pricing and quoting also included. So I always say configurator, of course, it's CPQ. even in this part. But what our focus is on that the customer can maintain it by themselves. So they do the whole product structure with what kind of product is it? Is it a basic product where you start with? Is it an accessory product to plug on the basic structure? They can even do their own rules and stuff. They could change the logo, the design, color, the text, the art of the text, just to do it in their CI. So with very low budget, you could start even with a configurator where no one sees that it is a low budget solution. And that is what we are trying to do. And it's a thing where we don't want IT departments to work with. It's a very important point for me, because I always say from my side, if I can maintain it by myself, like as a salesperson, we want the salespersons on the other side as well to maintain it by themselves.
Very cool, very cool. But now it's not really a complete startup, right, Resolto? I think the configurator itself is called Configon, correct?
Yes.
And but you're part of the Festo group, which is a larger organization in Germany, obviously. And I was wondering, what does it mean from your point of view for the solution at this time?
Resolto as a company is we are on the market for now more than 20 years, and part of Festo, I had to think about it. I guess about 2019 in my memory, where we got to Festo, and of course, it helps because, as you said, sales cycles are very big. And if you have more months, a few months where you don't have any revenue, of course, it helps to have a big company in the back. And on the other hand, of course, we learn a lot from the Festo group. We learned about structure in the company. We learned about how to get to different markets, and even Festo, of course, we could help with our configurator in some parts. And that was the whole point. It's very connected. So we work for ourselves at Resolto and with Configon, but of course it's very, very much connected. I know everyone from Festo working in digital business, so they're very close to each other, and it helps a lot.
Yeah. And does it also influence your roadmap? Do you get some input from Festo on that one as well?
Yeah, of course. There's a digital roadmap for every digital product inside of Festo. So there are some digital products we do from Resolto, like Configon, and another one that is called now Festo AX, which is more like an AI solution. And both products are part of a bigger roadmap where some Festo products are included as well. So we have a big approach. We have a big product range, and of course it helps to stay focused, to have targets, and even to get some development points from other products, for example, which could be adapted to the configurator. And on the other hand, if we develop something in the configurator, it could be helpful for other products we have in the digital business.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit about the audience that you're targeting with this solution, right? So you're looking at any specific industries, any specific customer sizes?
Like I said, customer sizes are not the point for us anymore. It was in the back because, of course, if you do enterprise solutions, most of the companies need to have some kind of revenue. But specific industries is a thing for us, because I always say the industry comes from the references, and we have very much Configons or configurators in the industry of electrical devices and all the electrical stuff and machine engineering. So it's always easier if you have a configurator running on systems with products the customer knows. It works with electrical devices, then of course it's easier to adapt it to another company. So we're very focused on these kind of industries.
Got it. And geography-wise, are you targeting anything beyond the German-speaking region of Europe? So Germany, Austria, Switzerland?
Mainly it's DACH region, yes. We're now getting closer to Netherlands and Italy in the last months, and have some talks with companies even in the USA and in Japan on the other side. So it gets a wider range now. It it all comes as well from the Festo, I guess, because Festo is a name worldwide, and so it gets easier for us to be connected in these areas.
Quick break from today's episode. If you're looking into CPQ solutions, I've got 3 resources you don't want to miss. First, the CPQ briefing subscription. Think of it as your shortcut at the very start of the buying process. Instead of spending weeks hunting for vendor information or sitting through endless demos, you get access to briefing documents that explain what each CPQ solution does, how it's positioned, and what to watch out for. It's like speed dating CPQ vendors without the awkward small talk. Now, once you're in the middle of your CPQ journey and you need help narrowing things down, that's where Novo CPQ Consulting comes in. We work one-on-one with you, completely independent and neutral, to figure out the best fit for your business. We don't sell software. We don't take sides. We just help you make the smartest choice. And finally, when you're late in the buying process and you need to make a real decision, there's the CPQ sales report. This is a deep dive 20+ page report that compares vendors in detail and can save you 1 or 2 weeks in your selection process. No fluff, no vendor bias, just facts you can rely on. So whether you're just starting out, stuck in the middle, or ready to make a final call, Novo CPQ has you covered. Tell me a little bit more about the solution architecture that the solution has, right? So what I mean by that is talking a little bit about headless, so that you could use the engine here, but you could have a completely different front end for it, right? API first. And also in general, do your customers care about this? Do you talk to them about this?
It's not so important for them, I guess. And of course, they want to know how they can plug the configurator to other systems, connect it to other systems like PIM or CRM systems. That's often the question. And for us, it's not this kind of problem. So we have an open API for our Configon, and we have very many experiences with different companies, different solutions in PIM and CRM systems. So we are very open for any kind of solution. There was never a problem with anything.
Got it. So let's talk about some specific solution, how you integrate with them, right? So CRM and ERP, I think since you're in Europe and Germany, so I would expect that a lot of your customers probably have SAP in the background, right? So, but tell me what works out of the box concerning CRM and ERP wise.
Out of the box, we have connections to, it's kind of a partnership to the cross-based solution from PIM systems. And we already did some projects in the ERP from SAP, like you said, but it's not like we always say SAP even is different from company to company. So you can't say we have some SAP working standard, but we know that it is not a problem to adapt from other product. So that is the one point. And on the other hand, we are connected in the CAD area. That's what for us is very important, because in the engineering, of course, CAD data is very important. And there we are connected to the company Cadenas, who produce or build CAD data in a native kind of format. And we are having a live interface to their system. So if a customer has data from Cadenas, we could use it in between 1 or 20 seconds, we get it imported in our backend, and it works from the beginning. So there's no need for testing or stuff, because it's always the same size of model, let me say it like this, and it works from the beginning.
Okay, but let me go back on the CRM, right? So because that's very important for lots of customers. You also have customers who use, for example, Salesforce or other popular CRM solutions that you've integrated with. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, got it. So Configon really champions the idea of no programming, as far as I understand, right? So no programming needed 3D configuration. From your perspective, what was the driving force behind making accessibility such a core design principle, and how does that translate into real empowerment for users, especially those in sales or engineering who might not have a coding background?
I guess it came from from the experience from our earlier customers, because of course we also started with a solution where the customer couldn't program or couldn't use our backend by themselves because it was too complicated. But we have seen that there were companies which were interested in working with us, but they would have to build up an IT department, and of course that's a cost they didn't plan to use with to use a Configon. And so we started to adapt these and change our solution right into that, with no programming needed 3D configurator, to make it easier for companies to start with and to make it easier to maintain it. Because I always say that the knowledge about the products is not in the head of an IT software architect or a software engineer. So the product knowledge is inside of the sales guys or the product management or people from these departments. So they should be able to maintain the configurator in the backend, to maintain the product data, and even to maintain small, easy rules which can be used in the configurator then. And that worked very well. So we have very good experience with that.
I would agree with that, but tell me a little bit more, because these days everyone claims to be a no-code, low-code configurator or a maintenance tool, right? So in the past, historically, lots of this was kind of some form of coding, right? Or scripting that you would have in the background to set up the rules. Right now, when you say you make it accessible for others to maintain, tell me a little bit more. How does it work? Is that what's the UI, UX experience behind it, so that a potential future customer has an idea what you're talking about, at least a little bit.
A little bit is possible, of course. We have the two, let me say it like this, two simple kind of interfaces, designs where you can make these kind of rules. So we have one side where it is all about the product and the product rules, the 3D rules, the connecting rules, however it's called. And it's a graphically kind of way to build connections between products. So you start by adding a connection, for example. It's always some small field which with a size, and you place it on the 3D model somewhere where you want to connect some. And the first thing Configon does automatically is reading the 3D model to say, okay, there's a layer, there's a different layer, this is one side, this is another side. So you can just place it at some point and, for example, press another button to make the connection be placed in the middle of this area. For many things, that is enough to have the right place. And if not, you could just adjust it with the keyboard, with the arrow keys, for example, or with the mouse, or with buttons, with plus minus buttons with different steps. And these connections, they have two different kind of ways. And we always say it's like the socket and the plug in the kitchen. So the connection in the base is the socket, and like in the kitchen, for the socket, it doesn't care if you connected with a coffee machine or a microwave or stuff. And for this connection, it also doesn't care if you place, for example, in a closure system with a mounting holder or a plate or stuff. If the connection has the same size, it works in the first place. And the second thing you do is then giving it some kind of description. So you say, okay, you are a connector for mounting plates, for example. And the easiest way then is to copy this, go to the mounting plate, paste it inside, just change the direction to the plug and say, okay, you're now a plug and it fits. So you can make connections in between, from my side, in between 10 seconds to 1 minute for one connection. But you could copy it and copy it and copy it to every kind of mounting plate you have. So even if months later you have a new mounting plate, you can just copy this connection and you have it there. And the second thing is for easy rules, we adapted a system from Google Blockly. So you have pre-programmed blocks for when if rules. So you can say, okay, if a product is inside of the configurator, or if a product is connected to another product, then do some action. For example, place an article automatically, or to get some kind of message in the configurator, a pop-up, for example, who tells you, okay, you could now add this product, or you could now do that, or be careful because now that happens, for example. And you could build up these simple rules from the Blockly structure. It's some kind of puzzle or Lego for those who don't know it. So you just need to connect some blocks.
Yeah, I think that's like what Google used to teach kids how to code, right?
Yes, so right. And that's where we found it, because our boss of the department had to do it with his kids, and he said, "Oh, if kids understand it, then sales guys also will understand it."
Excellent. But one question here. So especially when the rules get more complex, right? So you may know, so a couple of configurators have constraint-based rules, others that help you to write more complex rules. So does it mean that when you made the compromise of making this more accessible for more, you also have simpler rules, or is it still possible to also set up the more complex rules?
It's also possible to set up more complex rules. Of course, that always is for these small rules, for that logical rules and connection rules. Of course, if there's something more, we have to program it ourselves. If it's too complex, I guess it wouldn't even help to get it to the customer to make them do it. So that's something that is be done in the beginning.
Got it. As you know, these days, AI is all the rage, has been for the last 2.5 years, right? So also in CPQ, lots of discussion. Tell me what Resolto is doing in regards to AI, and keep it from two perspectives. I would guess one from an administrator perspective, if and how they use it, and then from a user point of view, if and how they would use it.
Yeah, of course, you're right. I always get questions about AI. And like I said in the beginning, we from Resolto, we have an AI solution for Festo. So we have the manpower in our business. And of course, we are still reviewing application scenarios because it's not something we have yet in the Configon. But that depends on the data we got. So in the newer projects, we placed the AI thing from the beginning. So we said, if we want to have AI solutions, like, for example, having automatically built up templates from the configurator, just by saying, for example, if I'm in the electrical industry, I want to have an enclosure for my house with one party, for example, then build up something for me. Of course, you need data for it. And that's where we start now. So if a new customer wants to have AI in his configurator, we're collecting data. And half a year later or 1 year later, it of course depends on the traffic on the Configon, we can then give him some AI solution on that. So that is the main point we're working on right now.
Then let me ask, from your point of view, when you sell the solution, what are the top 3 points that convince customers that Resolto is the right solution for them? If you think about top 3?
Top 3 for me would be, from the things I hear, is of course the 3D configurator with CAD data, because our focus is more on the mechanical view, not on the beautiful look, let me say it like this, that they can get all of their CAD data out of it. So even with the partners, up to 150 different kind of formats out of the Configon. And the last thing is, very easy maintenance. Like I said, if I show them our backend, most of the people are convinced that they can use it as well. And I think that's very good.
Excellent. Then let's look at, once you convince the customers and they start the project, tell me a little bit how long it takes to get the Resolto, the Configon solution installed, implemented so that customers can use it? What should they expect?
Yeah, they should expect not a strict plan, which is always the same, because it's of course depends on the size of the project. So what we always do is we start, of course, building up the Configon, and of course the first weeks there's nothing to see. And from the point where there is something to see, we have, of course, a demo setup and the live setup, which is of course not live yet. But on the demo setup, they always see what we are working on. So they always get the kind of process we are working on and the process of our configurator. And like I said, that could be from 2 or 3 weeks after signing the offer. And the process is always the same. At the beginning, you get your project team. We're always working with one person who is the contact person for them, and also the names of the developers are being mentioned as well. And you work together with a ticket system with us. With some companies, we even do some kind of.
But one question in between, Matthias, is that you do the implementation yourself, or you have a system implementer who works with you to implement it?
No, we do it by ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, with some companies, we even share Microsoft Teams channel to have a very quick conversation. We do monthly, weekly reviews, for example, if it's wished. So we're very open for it. So I don't want to have a strict plan from getting it done every time the same with every company. Because it always depends on the company. Some companies work with one person in it. Some teams are up to 20, 30 persons working on it. So we want to be able to work with everyone. And of course, you could have a complete solution within a month, I guess. If it's a low budget project.
A month, you mean that the customer then is really live with the solution?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
is that more the exception? Is that so the shortest kind of go live that you had, or is that the average implementation time for weeks?
For the plug and play solutions, it's the average time at the moment, and I guess it will be even quicker in the future, because we're working on getting it quicker done. But nowadays, I can say, like from a customer I talked last week to, they will get their solution finished in October. So it can be very quick if it's needed. For example, we of course could go even quicker. But important for me is that the customer knows from the beginning when it will start, and that he will not be disappointed that we can get to this point. So if I tell the customer the first time you will get your project done within September, then he will get his project done until September. So there's no surprises.
Got it. Matthias, thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today. We will have all your contact information, LinkedIn and so on in the show notes. So thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today.
Yeah, thank you too. Made fun.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening and hope you learned something interesting today. If you like the podcast, please go ahead and rate it on iTunes or share it with your friends and colleagues. In the meantime, you can find us online at www.novocpq.com. So long, everyone.